Let's talk about a recent interview from MVS on NFL Total Access, Isaiah Pacheco being awarded the keys to his city, and take a look at a receiver who has remained quiet through OTAs, yet may still have one of the strongest chances of making the active roster, and much freaking more. But first, how about those? What's up, guys? My name is Cole, aka the Michael Jordan of beards, or sometimes known as the smooth red-bearded dragon, and I do daily news about the Chiefs and the NFL overall, so I'm going to need you to sub if you're new, hit that like button if you would like to wish a happy Father's Day to the father of the AFC West, Patrick Mahomes himself, and let's get into this video starting with me, wishing all of you dads out there a happy Father's Day, especially to the dads who are involved in their kids' lives in whatever capacity they are able to do so. Basically what I'm saying is, if you are not a deadbeat father, happy freaking Father's Day. Anyway, let's start off light with some player news via their socials. CEH could be seen driving around town with his top down, and all I can say about this is this man has a really nice car. Holy smokes. Sky Moore could be seen taking some cute little mirror selfies. Creed Humphrey is out here at a lake. Tight end Mark Vital is barbecuing it up and making some nice cold drinks, and I can't confirm this 100%, but he may have spilled those drinks because Snead is out here warning us that water will cause a wet floor and to look out for said floors. And then here's a clip that signifies the Chargers, Raiders, and Broncos' chances of making it strongly across the finish line this season. So that is a very good picture of the Raiders, Chargers, and Broncos seasons, just cruising along, riding around, thinking everything is fine, playoffs are looking good, and then they fall flat when it matters. I will say this though, earlier that morning, President Biden's Secret Service agents did indeed share with him that it may not be the best idea for a 79-year-old man to go out there and ride his little bike around, but it was reported that Biden had one response.
Let's ride. Let's ride.
Broncos.
Let's ride. Let's ride. Let's ride. Let's ride.
Let's ride. That clip will never get old. And speaking of ride, Isaiah Pacheco went on a ride as the city of Vineland honored the football star with a parade and gave him a key to the city. What door that unlocks, I have no idea, but Vineland is where Pacheco played high school ball at, and he was a 4-year captain and QB for the Fighting Clan before graduating from VHS. His high school is literally called VHS. That's a throwback. In 2018 is when he graduated. The author of this article says with a blend of pure speed and power, he rushed for over 3,100 yards and threw for more than 1,400 yards for the high school squad. And if those stats are indeed accurate, Pacheco was definitely destined to be a running back. Holy smokes. This man ran for double the yards that he threw for. That's freaking wild. Anyway, you can see this footage happening all throughout me talking right now with Isaiah getting the keys to the city yesterday. So let's freaking go. And then MVS recently spoke with James Palmer on NFL Total Access and shared about the life of going from someone like Aaron Rodgers to someone else that's really good like Patrick Mahomes, and he said they're both incredible athletes and put the ball exactly where it needs to be. And I want to echo my thoughts that I've shared in a previous video, that this is why I feel like MVS is transitioning very nicely here in KC. He's used to an incredible QB that can consistently make plays. Therefore, he simply went from one playmaker to the next. Valdes-Scantling said the 2 weeks spent with the receiving corps in Texas prior to phase 2, I believe, was great because Mahomes treated everyone the same, showed no favoritism. They all trained together, went out to eat together, hung out, etc. And it was a great jumpstart to accelerate the bond of this receiving core. He shifted a bit to talk about OTAs and training camp, saying he's been kind of moving all around, trying new things and seeing where his strengths fit best here on this offense. And yeah, Andy Reid recently said they have some ways they'd like to use him, ways he wasn't used while in Green Bay. So that'll be exciting to see what those ways are, especially with Tyreek Hill gone and basically a brand new start here with the receiving core minus McCole Hardman. MVS knows the AFC West is absolutely stacked like my biceps used to be before I had 2 shoulder surgeries, but the Chiefs have been running the show just like the Packers were running the show in his previous division. So he feels pretty confident that this team is going to go out there and make things happen.
This offense is going to be super exciting. And we're going to score a lot of points. I'm really happy to be a part of it. I think obviously with 15 back there, anything is possible. And then with Coach B calling those plays, I'm excited about what it's going to be.
Well, we are also excited, MVS. Trust us on that one. And since we are talking about Aaron Rodgers and Patrick Mahomes, two great QBs, I found this a good time to share with you guys this little graphic that I stumbled across recently. This shows how QBs perform versus perfectly covered plays and non-perfectly covered plays since 2019. Basically, the further up and to the right your little dot is, and the bigger the dot is actually, the better you are at life on the football field. And basically, Mahomes is scary close to a positive EPA when facing perfect coverage, and that is insane. Aaron Rodgers is up there with him pretty much, and that just shows that these guys are in a league of their own, and it's not even close. Meanwhile, you have the Dolphins QB Tua, the most accurate QB in the entire history of the NFL. Yeah, he actually does well against good coverage, fourth best, but looks to be the fifth worst in the NFL when defenses break down and miss assignments, which is interesting to note. And then just take a look way down there at Trevor Lawrence. Poor little guy. This guy is in a league of his own, but regardless, the QBs you don't want to have on your team are the guys that are in the bottom left quadrant of this graphic. I see little Drew Lock down there, so good luck with that one, Seahawks. All right, let's switch gears here to talk about receivers with the Chiefs. There are some definite standout names here that have been talked about frequently by the media. We all know the four perceived starters: Sky Moore, MVS, Juju, and Mecole Hardman. They've been talked about pretty frequently, especially MVS, who appears to have the greatest rapport with Mahomes, probably outside of Hardman himself, of course, due to him being here for years. But outside of those four roster locks, we have 10 other receivers competing for what may be 2 more spots on the 53-man roster, and what maybe 3 or so will make the practice squad. So the question is, who the heck is making it? We've seen Josh Gordon's name a bunch, and of course Justin Ross, the Chiefs' social media team's favorite person ever, who vanished out of thin air for mandatory minicamp. I personally have talked about Justin Watson, the former Buccaneer, Jarian Ealy, the running back wide receiver hybrid. Omar Bayless has been a very consistent receiver. Some have even said one of the most consistent receivers at OTAs. Cornell Powell was a standout receiver last week at day 2 of the mandatory minicamp. And the list goes on and on, really. 14 players total on this list right now, and around half of them will not make the active roster. Now, there is one guy on this list that has been pretty freaking quiet, if we're going to be honest, yet Arrowhead Addict contributor Jacob Milham. I like Milham because I like ham. I like bacon. Anyway, he makes a pretty big case for wide receiver Daurice Fountain in an article that he released yesterday. He literally says that outside of the 4 roster locks, MVS, Juju, Sky Moore, and Mecole, nobody has a stronger chance of making the wide receiver roster than Daurice Fountain. Fountain spent 3 years with the Colts, then tried out at the Chiefs' 2021 rookie minicamp and was pretty quickly signed to a 1-year deal. And not only that, but he actually went out there and impressed the coaches enough to make the 53-man roster, and he actually led the Chiefs receivers in preseason stats, grabbing 10 catches for 118 yards in 3 preseason games. Now, I will say that while Fountain looked good during preseason, he was inactive for the first 5 games and then cut by the Chiefs, rejoining them via the practice squad, but then was able to suit up for KC's 7 final games, playing 74% of his snaps on special teams while active. And the author here says that Fountain is what teams expect their depth players to be: someone who is good, maybe not great, but can produce when called upon, someone who can play a significant percentage of special team snaps, which he did when he was active, and someone who has shown they can go out there and compete on the field. And now, without further ado, here is where the author Jacob makes his case on why Daurice Fountain has an advantage of making this roster heading into the 2022 NFL season. He says, unlike any rookie or newcomer to Kansas City, he has experience in the system and rapport with the coaching staff. Reid's scheme is historically unkind to newcomers and rookies. Fellow roster bubble players like Powell and Gordon have this experience as well, though. Yep. Fountain has further advantages over other competitors, though. Gordon is on the wrong side of 30 and provides little special teams help that Kansas City needs from their depth players, which Fountain provides. Also, Powell did not see any regular season action, despite being a draft pick employed with the practice squad all season. Fountain not only was a priority practice squad addition, but he was also elevated from that unit over Powell and other players. These may not be obvious advantages, but they certainly cannot hurt Fountain's case. Sure, Fountain was not a crazy difference-making player in 2021. He was a special teams receiver, but that is an important designator considering how long special teams coordinator Dave Toeb's Faber kept Marcus Kemp employed. With Kemp, though, and several other key special teams players gone in 2022, Fountain should be a serious contender for the initial 53-man roster. All right, with all that being said, what do you guys make of this? Would you say a receiver who could play a significant amount of special team snaps should be placed pretty high on the priority list for the active roster? If you have McCole Hardman, MVS, Juju Smith-Schuster, and Sky Moore, then let's say, for example, in this case, Josh Gordon makes wide receiver 5, but he doesn't really play special teams. Would it not make sense to have someone who can play a heavy percentage of special team snaps to sneak in as wide receiver 6? And remember, the Chiefs will still stash a few of these guys on the practice squad that they can rotate in and out throughout the season, especially when, not if, but when injuries occur. So just because, say, Daurice Fountain makes the roster doesn't mean he stays there permanently. But yeah, I do think wide receiver 5 or 6 has a higher chance of staying around if they are multifaceted in how they can contribute to this team. 100%. So do I agree with this article? I kind of do. I see where he's coming from. We definitely need some special teams aces to be out there and be able to contribute, but also be able to step in when injuries occur. And Daurice Fountain, in my opinion, has a pretty good chance of being that guy. I know Daurice Fountain isn't the most popular name on this list, but we got to talk about it, especially in regards to his special teams contributions. So let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, and let's freaking fight about it down there. From here, let's take a look at some super thanks comments over the past couple of days. Grayson Jasper sent over $5 saying Craig is great, and I'm assuming he's talking about Craig Stout from KCSN. You know, the guy who is way freaking smarter than me, but has a tiny little beard? Yeah, that guy. Well, Craig is great. Thanks for the $5, bro. You're the man for that. And then Frank Barajas sent over $10 saying, hey, Chief Redbeard, here's $10, $5 for a cup of coffee, and $5 for the gas to go and get it. Sheesh, a gallon of gas is almost as expensive as a cup of coffee. Yeah, it's really sad if we're going to be honest. Also, he says, please give a huge shout out to my youngest daughter, Kaylee, who was born on Father's Day. She's the gift that keeps on giving. Happy birthday, Kaylee. Let's go, young legend Kaylee. Hope you have a great day, and maybe buy your dad something nice for Father's Day. I don't know, like some season tickets to the Chiefs this season. Something like that would be really nice. I'm sure Frank's been a really good dad for you, so that's just a suggestion. But happy birthday and happy Father's Day to all the dads out there who are not deadbeats. Make sure to leave a comment down below to potentially be featured in an upcoming vid. Sub for more daily news like this, and check out this video here, which is a recent Q&A video from the legends over at KCSN, and I think Craig Stout, the small beard himself, is in this video. And until next time, let's go. Let's freaking go. How about those